Oh, sorry.
All right, here we go. Hey everybody, probably like all five of you watching, but this is my first ever live stream and interview. And tonight I have mombierella, a really awesome, cool person that I've known for a few years. And she's coming on to talk to us about her channel and Kimo Kawaii that's going to be coming up this weekend in Conroe, Texas. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I feel special being the first live and interview on your channel too. So thank you for having me. Yay.
Can you tell me about your channel?
Yeah. So I started my channel a few years ago, and it actually kind of started just as an advice channel for people who wanted to do Disney vacations because I would go to Disney World all the time back then, and people would always ask me for my tips and tricks. And eventually they said, well, you should just, do something on social media where you can share it once and everybody can just replay it and get all the tips and tricks. So my first few videos that first year were all about, Disney related stuff and things like that. And I thought that was going to be my main thing, which is funny because even I've got my shirt with my logo. And if you see, it's got mouse ears on my logo still today. So it was a big part. I grew up loving Disney, so that was part of that. But then as time went by, it advanced and I realized a lot of the kind of geeky stuff that I was into, other people liked it too, and I started doing more of that. And then 2019, I went to my first Comic Con, so that started a whole new section of what I do and what I love, and getting to share that out with people. And then within the last year or so, my channel really took off, and I had a couple of videos that really trended, starting with I think the biggest one that hit first was the Hocus Pocus meet and greet that we did with the actual actors. And it was funny because it was during the actors strike. And so they couldn't even be on the video. So it was like Doug Jones and all these great actors and the young actresses who played the witches as kids from Hocus Pocus, and we couldn't even video them. So it was just me and Yukita, who has now become like one of my best friends and helps with my podcast. We do Magic Making Mischief, and we were dressed up as the witches, and we had a table, and we were just handing candy to children dressed as witches and having fun and doing stuff. And that was my video that really took off, and it went, I don't want to say viral because I always think of ones that go like insanely big with viral, but like it went trending for sure. And then between last that year and now, I got my silver button and everything, so it was really awesome.
That's so awesome. One thing I love about your channel is that you're very family friendly. There are several people out there that do cover conventions and stuff, but unfortunately, they tend to lean a little bit more adult at times. And, your stuff is always very just happy go lucky, not controversial, not negative, not screaming, that's woke every 5 seconds. And I just feel like that's a breath of fresh air in a community that seems to tend to be a little bit more adult and negative at times.
I appreciate that. That was actually one of my big reasons when I started my channel. That I one of the big reasons I did that even from the beginning was I had little kids, and I was really cautious about what I'd let us watch around them, and I couldn't
Hmm.
imagine putting something out there that wasn't something I could feel good about watching with my kids. And so I kept everything. I purposely have kept it that way, kept it very family friendly. And then even the podcast that we started, the three of us, it's the same way. We try to keep everything in that family friendly genre. Because I mean, how many times did I want to watch stuff as a mom when I had a little kid who would be a little parrot there and repeat whatever they heard? And I didn't want to watch something that I was going to be, oh my gosh, I just, I don't want to hear my 3-year-old say that, you know?
I
So
totally get it.
that was a
I'm the
bigger
same way
thing.
with my daughter.
Yeah.
Also, she just actually commented a second ago under links. That was Ruby.
She does the best cosplays. I always love seeing her cosplays.
I'd love to take credit for her cosplays and her style and everything, but that is not me in any way, shape, or form. Like, she has so much more style than I ever have in my entire life. And she spends so much time and money on her cosplays, her
I bet.
makeup. Whenever we go to conventions, she'll spend like an hour plus getting ready. And like me, at most, if I'm gonna like dress up as something, it's like me half, butting it and then like just putting on a cheap mask or something. But no, her costumes are amazing. Like, I'm so proud of her. Like, I've like you, I love being able to do conventions with my kid. It means the world to me to show her the stuff that I was into when I was younger, and getting to experience that with her has just been amazing. And I know whenever you go to conventions, you always have your two kids in tow, and it really means something when you can like show your kids what you love.
Absolutely. And it's funny because when I first started my channel, they were so young. I don't know, like if you could see
Hmm.
this, like they're little, they were
Yeah.
about this size when I started. And,
Hmm.
and so I didn't want to put them in front of the camera. I was real cautious about keeping them safe because I don't know if you've seen a lot of the parent
Yeah.
YouTubers and social media people out there. They'll just they often there was a big trend where they were pushing their kids in front of the cameras really young, and it just got
Yeah. I'm
weird.
with you. I don't agree with that either.
Yeah. So until my kids were actually old enough to say, "Hey, mom, I want to be part of the show," and really come
Hmm.
in and start actually being an intricate part and not just me showcasing my poor little one who didn't know that I was even filming them, I didn't let them in there. And then now my son is a must have part of what I do because he is my cameraman like almost 100% of the time. He knows exactly how to get the best shots and to go around. And then my whole family as a team covered pop culture officially as like actually uh videoing it for the event, and that was the first one the couple years back when they first did it that I ever did that for. And it was so much fun, and it was so neat to be able to have multiple cameras because the whole family spread out, and my daughter covered the cosplayers. Even my husband was helping because I needed, it's like when you've got that much equipment, you got to have the batteries and everything to just keep it rolling. And it was so much fun. It's a lot of work to try to cover something that intricately, though. So I won't do that for everyone. And I was actually part of the actual official team for that one, so I wouldn't do that much for anybody for free. Sorry, but we do love it, and I love having them be part of it too. It's really neat how it's gotten a chance to grow and just be a real family thing. It's awesome.
Um, Coming up this weekend is Kimo Kawaii. You've been going since the beginning, correct?
Yes, yes,
Can
this
you
will
tell
be
me
the
about
fourth
it?
year. Oh my gosh, it is definitely one of my absolute favorite conventions in the whole Houston area. And actually, now that sadly Anime Houston is gone, it
Mhm.
is my favorite anime convention in the whole Houston area, like all year long, because those were my two favorites, and they were different, but like Kimo, honestly, it's a smaller convention in its own right, but it has such heart to it, and it's
Mhm.
so artistically done. When you walk in, like from the second you walk in, you're inside of something different. They've got these huge Studio Ghibli characters, Tortoro and No Face, and just it's an awesome experience. I love it. It's always been so much fun, and being able to this being my first guesting experience is so exciting to me too. I love this one so much, and this is the absolute best.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody can see it, but behind Mombierella is her YouTube plaque that signifies that she crossed the 100,000 subscriber mark. So she
It's
is
these things
legitimately
are
an influencer now.
these things like I did not realize this was an actual mirror on this part when I got it, and so it's the hardest thing to get a picture of these because they reflect every time you go to get a picture. So whenever I was
Hmm.
first trying to take my to show unboxing it, I could not get a
Hmm.
shot without showing, everything across the room. And I'm sitting here thinking, do people just have empty rooms where they open these and show the pictures of getting them? Because I was so excited, I wanted to share it, but I
Hmm.
had like classic mom. I had 3 laundry baskets set aside that were being organized at the time, and all I could see every time I took a picture was a laundry basket reflected. I'm like, "That's why does it seem accurate?" Like, yeah.
What's funny is that I've heard about like with the because people have the plaques like in their offices and stuff. I've heard of much worse things being reflected in those plaques than laundry baskets. So, I mean,
Valid. I guess that's true.
but how
Um,
does it feel to be like an official guest at Kimo Kawaii?
it's so awesome. I honestly I feel like this event, I love the name. I don't know if you know what the name means. You might actually know what the name means because your
Mm-hmm.
daughter's probably like really into Japanese like mine. And so it's if you break it apart, it means like odd or strange or weird and then cute. So kind of creepy
Mm-hmm.
cute. And it's funny because everybody says the name of my channel and everything that I use is perfect for that because it's mombierella. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like zombie mom and the Rella, like the animated
Mm-hmm.
princesses from Disney is where I got the name combo. And so it's kind of creepy cute. And it's
But I
all
mean
right.
the name. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
But I mean the name suits it because of the creator or the founder of Kimo Kawaii. Can you tell me about him?
So Chris Carson, you know what's funny is the first Kimo Kawaii I just started I just started covering conventions. And so I called him the first year and asked him if they were doing media and stuff and what they had going on because I wanted to find out more. And he was so excited about it. Like just to hear him, if you ever talk to him about one of his projects or events like this, he's always got such an artistic mindset on it. He's so creative and I love his point of view. And even where it is now, it's like I love the way that this event is, but he had even from year one, he had even bigger goals and dreams. And I think that it's still heading that way as time goes by. It's going to keep increasing because he was talking about back then how you're not only going to walk into it, you're going to walk into a whole anime environment, universe, the sights, the smells, everything. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's slowly increasing into that dream even more as time goes by. And he's even had some unique stuff with this event where they've made their own voiceovers with guests. They can become part of a movie that they create. And then the guests that are there, a lot of them will voice characters too, like the voice actors and stuff that come each year. And I think that so they've got 3 movies they've made. They've made one each year. So I think this year they'll do their 4th one, I guess. And it's almost like like its own anime series that they're making at the convention. And so they're building that and then they keep adding more to it. And one of my favorite things though that I know he's so proud of this as part of the convention. We were just talking about it today actually and it's unique to any anime con. I've never heard of any anime con that has this and it's the Japanese fashion show. And so
Mm-hmm.
this will be the 4th year and every year they do this. It sounds less exciting than it is in some ways because it's not just kimonos and your regular Japanese, kind of thing. It's a whole series. There's a whole like spectrum, of Japanese fashion and they exhibit all kinds of it and they do a whole show of it. And it's super entertaining, super exciting. You get goosebumps sitting there watching the show. It's really cool. And this year, actually, I get to be part of it. This will be my first year to take part in the fashion show. They asked me, and I'm like, that would be really cool. Oh my gosh, this thing's always been so awesome. I can't wait to take part. So that is cool. Uh, Chris is also actually not just the founder of Kimo Kawaii, but I don't know if everybody knows this, but he's an artist as well. And his artist
Dirk
name is Dirk
Strangely.
Strangely. Yes. And it fits the whole Kimo Kawaii style too. First time I
Absolutely.
ever met him and his wife was at actually the first Comic Conroe, and they had an artist table, and I went through, and that was my first event to actually officially do interviews and stuff. So I went through like as many tables as I could, and I remember his art because it just stood out so much. He had like the Cheshire cat and this black cat style that he
Mm-hmm.
had, and it is such neat style to look at it and see it. And it fits, it just makes sense. Like all of it with Kimo Kawaii and all the things, it just kind of makes sense at this point. And I think that's probably part of why it's so perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've known of him for years, and I love his art style. It's so like creepy and cute, and it just yeah. The first year I went to Kimo, I absolutely loved it. And for such a small con, like you already touched on, for such a small con, it has a lot. Like, unfortunately nowadays, a lot of conventions, they're when they first start off, they get in over their heads and they don't know what they're doing. And but like right off the bat, like Kimo always, had a lot, especially for the space that they have. They have a
Right?
lot going on. There's always something to do. The arcade room, the karaoke. I
Yes.
was watching your thing earlier where they were talking about the live radio show.
Yeah,
Um,
that's new. I'm excited about that.
I actually saw that at Comic Palooza years and years ago. It's
Really?
actually a lot of fun. I highly recommend it to anybody that's going. Basically, like, I don't know if he explained it correctly, but it's like they'll have image on the screen, kind of like a comic book, and then they'll be talking below it, and they'll have old timey radio sound effects. Like somebody will have like a big plastic sheet, and they'll like move it to make it sound like thunder, and like
Oh,
it's just like an old timey radio show, but live. It's
oh,
absolutely
that's awesome.
fantastic. I
Yeah, I
loved
don't
it so much the last time I saw it.
we didn't really have enough time to get into the details of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
remember Disney World, they used to have this part where they talked about how they made the old sound effects and stuff. And I could
Mm-hmm.
just picture it because I remember they had like the coconuts and you had to match
Yeah,
the
I was about
horse
to say they have
boots.
the coconuts. They have the.
Yeah, that was so cool. I loved that part. I hate that they don't have like Disney keeps getting rid of the classics at their park. They need to stop. Stop.
That's a whole nother thing
That's a
about
whole
how
other
Disney's gone
podcast.
downhill.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So,
but
uh, oh, also this year, I think they did it the first time last year, but this will be, I think, the second year for the comedy thing that they did.
with Bradley Smith.
Yes, he's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
And
Geeks of Comedy. That's it.
and they're doing an open mic, right, for part of the show, correct, or part of his panel.
Yes, yeah. In fact, anybody that wants to come take part, I think they give you like 3 minutes or something, 2 or 3 minutes with it, and you can come up and do comedy with them. It seems like so much fun. I missed it last year. I was kind of sad because
Are you gonna
sometimes
go
there's
up on stage and
multiple
do it?
things. I might. It's something I've considered. It's just I was like, man, I need to actually get in there when they're doing it. But yeah, I live my sister and me, we were really close growing up and we were goofballs. So it was like a couple of Muppets. She'd crack a joke and I'd crack a joke and we'd go back and forth. And when she was younger, or when I guess I was too little for it, but she would go up and do little comedy acts for talent shows sometimes. And I was like, that's so much fun. So whenever they did it last year, I was like, that would be cool. And I felt so bad that I missed it. So I definitely have to catch it this year. So everybody needs to go out and take part.
Uh, the other thing that Kimi Kawaii is doing this year that they did last year was the Japanese arcade. Uh, can you tell me anything about that?
I know it's all free play, and
Mm-hmm.
the only one I really got a chance to do, I saw my kids went in and got a chance to do it for a minute, but the one I got a chance to do was they had a full on dance machine, and I love those things. They're so
DDR.
fun. Yeah. So there's a lot actually with the arcade, and if anybody has like kids or teens that want to go check it out, especially like that's the perfect setup right there. Like especially the older teens, you know, because then they can do that and you can go do your shopping and go meet the guests
Mm-hmm.
here. So it's because it's totally a free arcade and it's all set up and it's a whole half that big room if they have it in the same one they were in last time.
Mm-hmm.
It's there really is a lot at this event, honestly. And then of
Yeah.
course they have all the classic stuff. So they have the cosplay contest coming up and the judges for this year are really cool. Because if you're a lot of the people in the Houston area will who are in the cosplay scene will definitely know uh Rumple still Sam, if I can get it out right. because she's won a lot of awards. Not just Houston. I think she actually just won in Dallas too, as well at the Dallas Fan Expo. And then oh, I have not actually met the first name that came up on the cosplay judges. My mind is blank, but I do know. Excuse me. The other one is Cosplay Till Midnight, and every time she does a cosplay, I have I reintroduce myself to her. Number one, which is the sign of a good cosplay, right? When you don't recognize them at first, and you go up and you're like, "Wow, your cosplay's so cool! It's so nice to meet you." But then like she has such great cosplays. And the first time I remember really meeting her, she was in a Barbie cosplay from the Princess and the Pomper. And then now she has like all these anime ones I've seen, and I'm like, your cosplays like just switch gears 100% of the time. Hey, I recognize Jeremy Vander's name. Hi.
Jeremy, and
But
then Christina. First
oh, you're
year,
gonna
it's
love
gonna be
it.
so much fun.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Yes. I think I had somebody else say earlier, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop by on one of the days to check it out." I was like, "You're gonna love this event." It really is it's an event that has true heart to it too. Like there's a lot going on, but you get in there and it really becomes family. The more years you go, the more you connect with people. It's a really good one for connecting. I know larger events, like they're so big, it's hard to not only get a chance to do everything, but also get a chance like the guest, it's a much more personal experience at an event this size. And then at the bigger ones, like the really mega cons, as many guests as they have, you're not going to get to meet a quarter of the people that are there. And the lines are crazy. And it's just
Hmm.
as organized as it is, it feels like chaos. So yeah, it's much more fun at a smaller one because you don't feel so overwhelmed and you actually get a chance to meet the guest and go and say hello, and it's more personal. And
Absolutely.
the people are just not in such a harried, kind of mindset of just insane, crazy stressfulness. It's more relaxed, but it's still got that energy level that just buzzes, and it's so much fun. I mean, if you haven't been to a smaller con, it's hard to explain, but it's really awesome. Like I went from my first one being Comic Palooza to going to smaller conventions and just learning, okay, I love this environment more because it's so much more friendly, so much more personal, and more comfortable. There we go. There's a good word, comfortable.
Absolutely. I remember last year for Kimo kawaii, like, it really is different when you can actually go to a panel and talk to the guests. If you go to like Comic Palooza, Anime Matsuri, if you go to any of the panel rooms, usually, you'll stand in a long, long line to ask a question, and there's not even, a for sure chance you'll be able to ask it to the person. And with Kima
Right.
Kawhi, like I forget if it was last year or the year before that, they had the lady that voiced Lucy.
Last
Um,
year.
for Yeah, and I remember there were just a few people in the panel room, and it was basically almost like kind of like a powwow where everybody just sat close and just got to have like actual conversations with her. And it's like you really don't get that at bigger cons, and it's really cool when you have a more intimate setting, more
For
relaxed.
sure.
One thing I like about the Conroe Convention Center is there's places to sit. Whenever you go to like the George R. Brown, like it's so huge and it's so hard to find somewhere to rest. If you
Right.
want to get something to eat, you have to spend like,
Oh my gosh.
$50 on a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Right. And you get
The
the
the cool
working
thing
amount.
about
Yeah.
but the cool thing about that convention center is the food they sell there is actually pretty reasonable. And if you want to get something else, you can, the parking's free and it has in and out parking, so you can leave and get something and go back. It's just very different than a larger con at, say, one of the larger convention centers.
Right. Right. It's a lot more comfortable. And I mean, you're right there by Conroe, so it's not terribly far. There's a couple of food places close by if you wanted to get it. But yeah, they're I had one of their burgers last year right there at the convention center, and it was good. I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
had one before. I was like, that was really, really good. Also, they're gonna have Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball C has a little boba setup. They're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
selling boba this year. So I'm kind of sad they don't have food because their food's really good there. But
I I think I got a Frito pie there last year that was decent, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, their food's not super expensive, and
yeah, that's
you
saying
know,
something for a convention because usually
oh yeah,
conventions are very expensive with food.
ridiculous. They did it last year, or
They had food last year, but this year they're only doing boba for the Dragon Ball one that's there.
oh,
Yeah,
they're not
I know
doing
that they're not doing food this year for they're having food at the convention center. They have like a little food place that's
yeah.
actually the convention center's food, but the Dragon Ball's only doing the boba this year, not any food. Yeah, kind of sad.
Last year, did they do like fruit bowls?
I don't remember. I don't think they had like a lot of food options, but I think they had a couple. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm not the only one who thought they did. So I don't remember. But their food, they have a restaurant in Conroe, and it's so good though. They make like the what is the bowls called? My brain is
Pho?
like yes, thank you. And they've got all the different types of meats and stuff you can put on it. I love getting it with the zoodles, like the zucchini noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I'm really healthy, and they have this kind of smoky flavor to it, so it just has like this rich flavor. It's so good. See, I'm already missing their food. I apparently need to eat, and apparently it's dinner time.
Before we wrap up, is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to say about the convention or your channel or anything else?
Um, if you haven't been to the convention, you should definitely go. If you have been, I'm expecting to see you there again because Kimo is definitely a favorite. It's over there at the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe, and as
Oh,
far
the
as
tickets
YouTube
are under 50 for the weekend, correct?
yeah, for the full weekend. And their website, I think it's kimokawaii.com. So if you don't know how to spell that, it's let me see if I can remember. I don't spell it's spelled with a key.
I think it's KIMOKAWAII.
Like Hawaii. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
.net or something like that. So yeah, if you Google it though, anime convention in Conroe, Texas, it will come up. If just in case that's not the right 100% spelling. But as far as like um as far as YouTube channel goes though, I don't know like if anybody's looking to start a channel or anything like that. Um I love the people that I've met all over the world with what I do, and getting to share awesome stuff has been just a blast. And my kids growing up like basically as I did this has been not something I even anticipated, but it's funny because somebody told me the other day, they said, how have your kids gone from this to this? And they've like outgrown. And so these people all over the world I've become actual friends with. I may never meet them in person, but it's really amazing. So if anybody ever, if anybody's ever considered doing a YouTube channel and you're hesitant because you're not sure where to start, my advice has always been find that thing that you love that you're passionate about, because that's going to be your spark, and then grow from there. And so for me, I thought it was Disney, and it ended up just being my geeky fangirl life in general, basically, because it's just who I was, and Disney was a big part of that, and it still is, but a little different angle now on it. But yeah, like honestly, whatever you love, step back and look at it and be like, okay, so what of this am I would I like to share? Because there's other people who probably love that as much as you do.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely. And I find that no matter how obscure a fandom is or what you talk about, there's always going to be a bunch of people out there that were just waiting for that thing that nobody
for
else
sure.
thought of to do. So,
for sure. So, and just get started. Don't wait until it's perfect. Whatever cameras
Hmm.
you got, whatever mics you got, start with that and then grow from there. And everybody will grow with you because you're not going to probably, I'm not going to say it never happens, but you're probably not going to get a million views on your first video. You're probably not going to get a million views on your first 10 videos. But if you keep sharing something you love and keep growing in how you share and the stuff that you do, people will, you'll find your tribe, you know? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Um, Thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Well, both of us will be at Kimo kawaii this weekend, so if you see us, I'm gonna have a big bag of plushies on my back, and I'm gonna be going around asking people trivia questions and filming it. So if you see me, come up and say hi, and maybe I'll have a really hard trivia question for you.
It's so fun. He always gets good ones that go with your cosplays too. So,
All right.
so
Thank you again.
thanks for having
Good night,
me. See
everybody.
everybody at Kimo Koi. Bye.
I'm pressing end stream.
Hold on. It's the first live stream.